Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In today's program, I am going to go into just part of the alien species we know about and reveal something that is a major problem for Christians, as well as anyone that is religious that tries to use the idea that their God is some kind of spiritual thing. It's not. None of them are. But before I get into that aspect, this is the type of comment I get on my BitChute. I'm used to it. Check out the name. God's Glorious Plan. And I want you to pay attention to what they think is a glorious plan. They call themselves whatever they want. They are and will always be demons. They have to be including their God in this because the reptilians are just as much of aliens as their God is. But to continue, I've dealt with them. Okay? They hate, and that is not even close. I'm not really a spelling Nazi, but if you're going to try and refer to the name of someone from the Bible, from this shit, that's why I advocate having an e-sword, so at least you can get it right. Because the aspect of Jehovah is the YHWH, or also spelled, if you want to spell it out, it would be Jehovah, but in the Hebrew there are no J's. So it would be Y-E, not what you see there as Y-A-H. That's not even close. And they have Shua, which is not even close. I don't know what entity they are talking about with what they have there, but it is not what is referred to as the Lord type of thing, but that is what it is type of thing. And the idea of cowering it is, no, they don't. That would all be delusion. They see me and run. They know I'm sealed by the One. They will cower before his elect, and that proves it all. I would ask what evidence anyone would have for this, because from the research that I have done into this, people are immobilized when they're dealing with the grays and so forth. And in a future video, I'll talk about why people are immobilized by grays. It has nothing to do with Jesus. And your Jesus would have no effect on it. But that's for a future video. The unclean beings, descendants of the evil fallen entities, survivors of the flood. Wait a minute, the only survivors of the flood, according to the Bible, were Noah and his kids. Who other, according to this shit, survived the flood? God's Glorious Plan, book, chapter, and verse on anyone surviving the flood other than Noah and his kids. But the demons forever will be turned to ashes from inside, along with all traitors that delivered to them victims to mutilate and torture and eat. I would really question where they're getting their information. It's certainly not the Bible. This proves that Yah is the truth. No, this proves this person is delusional. The fact our government made a pact with these demons is more reason we should wipe them and these beasts off the face of the earth. Sounds like someone's spoiling for a war which, I dare say, we can't win. But I realize you pagan, I don't know what that is supposed to be. Eugenicists, maybe? I don't know. Worship these beasts? This person is really stupid, given I am very open in the fact I don't worship a fucking thing. It's why I'm an atheist. It's what atheist means. I don't believe in deities. And the more research I do proves I'm right. There are no gods. It's all aliens. It's all alien races, and I refuse to call an alien race a god. Even though, I think it was Arthur C. Clarke that had said, any advanced technology will be viewed as magic. With the pagan pope filth, there is no pagan pope. Enjoy the eternal fires, fools. The hateful nature in which the religious conduct themselves is really telling. It really is. It says a lot about them and the belief system that they operate from. But the gods of the Old Testament, or the God of the Old Testament, even though the idea of gods being plural is mentioned a few times, but it is Elohim. The thing is, this is where I really want you guys to see gods is Elohim. Because when we jump over to this website, and I'll be talking about this more in a future video, because as you can see, we have a whole shit ton. But right here, Elohims. It is an alien race. No different than the reptilians. In fact, you can see reptilians, serpent, draconians, so forth. They're over here. The Greys are here. The Elohim are here. There is the Adamic. And this even mentions Bigfoot, which I find interesting, given that I don't think is an alien race, but it also mentions the Anunnaki. But in this video, I am going to focus on Elohim, because that is the one that appears in the Bible, and it is actually mentioned in this, the aspects of where just a couple times and things with it. This is the oldest group of aliens in the universe, and this is a key part of it that we know of. That is a very important part that we know of. Our knowledge regarding aliens is extremely limited. This would be our knowledge of aliens would basically be like a child trying to tell you everything about our world. Their knowledge of it would not even be close to the full picture. But they're the ones at war with the Orions. Okay, I have no problem with that idea. Which are the ones that manipulate the Greys. I've also come across and heard that idea that the Greys are clones of or subjected to the reptilians. Elohim occurs frequently throughout the received texts of the Torah. I do want to make one correction with what they have here. The Torah is only, and I'll jump over from the KJV Plus, the Torah is only the first 5 books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That is the Torah. The rest of what we call the Old Testament is called the Tanakh. It is a separate Jewish text. But what they mention in this is from the Torah, where they have Ezekiel and so forth. But where they have the aspect of 1 Samuel, that is not the Torah, that is the Tanakh. Torah is only the first 5 books of the Bible. I just want to draw that distinction. And also, references to Yahweh as Elohim. No, that is absolutely incorrect. Because the Elohim is the word God. The idea of Jehovah is the word Lord. Now, a case can be made, because it is saying the Lord God, that this Jehovah is one of these Elohim. It's entirely possible. I don't know. However, I just wanted to show you that's coming from 2 different Hebrew words. That Elohim is the word God, and the Jehovah, even though this doesn't get it right as far as the spelling, but I'm going to not harp on spelling too much. But even that it's a separate Hebrew word. But the idea that the word Elohim occurs more than 2,500 times, I'm just curious, because I can do a bit of a search quick and even get it to where you guys can see what I'm doing, because right now I wanted to have that before I even started this, so I'm just curious. The word gods, in a plural sense, occurs 244 times in 215 verses. I just want that to be the plural of gods, of God. Appears that much. But what we can also do is switch it over to the KJV Plus, and what I can do there is show you it is still the Elohim, which means gods. That's where it is a plural aspect. The idea of a singular that is something that we've made up. That this is a plural. But let me pull this back up, and the aspect of the word God, how many times does it appear? That's what I'm doing this for. And okay, actually, holy shit. Okay, what I'm gonna do, because it's showing over 4,000 times, so let's just do Old Testament. Actually, their estimation is way low. 3,100. Okay, does it not? Yeah, it does show you. Yeah, 3,101 matches in 2,697 verses. The word God appears, and that is Elohim. So that is something just off the top. Their estimation was actually, or the total they have here is actually quite low. It is far more, or occurs more than, okay, more than 2,500 times. Yes, that I showed you. It's over 3,000 times. But it is essentially referring to this alien race. But yeah, the word Elohim denotes God. Angels, judges, rulers of countries. No doubt it would be that is how they view themselves and see themselves as, but clearly reptilians would have a different perspective on them being gods. The word El translates into meaning powerful, the strong, or the powerful one. I would be okay if that's how you want to describe yourself. I can't imagine someone describing themselves as the weak or the helpless one. But that it is what it is. But the giants are defined as Els, and the Anakims, which are the elder race, not to be confused with the Elohim. They may be the Orion group. This mentions the book of Enoch and so forth. But all of this, we're dealing with extraterrestrials. It basically, especially in the ancient world, people would have thought extraterrestrials coming from the sky in a ship type of thing. They would have seen that the home of these quote-unquote gods is the sky. The idea of another star system and traveling to this planet would have been something the ancient people would not have understood. But it definitely explains the aspect of why people, especially when I interviewed Mark Powers, he believes in God because he had said that there were stories in Judaism of people interacting with gods or with God. And that would be people interacting with extraterrestrials. Now, I don't think Mark Powers thought of his God as an ET, but that's just really what it would be. And this goes into the idea of Enoch and so forth, and even I find this interesting. The Satans. Satan simply means adversary. It doesn't denote, as far as I know, a race per se. But I'll do some more digging on this, and is also covering different things in here, but the idea, it's problematic as hell for the religious to use the term dogmatic regarding the ideas of what would be quote unquote God, because what we're talking about is an ET. Even with reptilians and so forth, I'm going to be checking and, in a sense, cross-referencing, because a lot of the stories in the Old Testament in this are also, you could use the term stolen from the Sumerians and the stories of the Anunnaki. So I would want to figure out, because like the flood story is not original to Noah. If that actually happened, a deluge type of thing, it wasn't Noah. It would have been Gilgamesh. And that would have been a Sumerian story. Because I know I've read that in the Epic of Creation from the Sumerian tablets. I think it was Zechariah Sitchin that had talked about that. But I would also want to find out how much of the Old Testament is actually lifted from the Sumerian story, because I would want to ascertain just how much of the ancient world was being, things were being done by the Elohim versus what were done by the Anunnaki. Because the Anunnaki, there's a picture of potentially them. And described in the Bible and other ancient texts as the sons of heaven who came down to mate with women of earth because they found them fair. This is where I see it as a bias based on ideas, because it is not, there's nothing from what I've seen in the writings of Zechariah Sitchin that would have the Anunnaki being termed as the sons of God that disobeyed or anything. And even in Judaism, there was no sin, to use that term, in the interbreeding between the daughters of Adam and so forth, because with the aspect of that, it wasn't so much that these sons of God had bred with the daughters of Adam as much as it was that the God was pissed off at man. Yeah, it's Genesis 6:5. In Genesis 6:4, there were giants in the earth in those days when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men and bare them children. The same begat mighty men of old, men of renown, which could be the Adamic, I don't know, but this gets into the idea that the wickedness of man was great on the earth. It does not make any mention. Christians try to twist it into being that God was pissed off about these giants. There's nothing in here that says about the God or the Elohim being upset with the giants at all. It is all about humans. But this aspect and the idea of destroying man is actually the Anunnaki. That goes back to Zecharia Sitchin and what he had mentioned, that Enki was one of the Anunnaki that was the one involved in the genetic engineering. And Enlil, his brother, didn't like humans. Enki was fond of, at the very least, what he had made. And Enlil wanted the humans wiped out. But Enki had done things so that some of what he had made would survive when the quote-unquote flood happened. That was done by the Anunnaki, not the Elohim. So we would have to establish which alien race are we talking about. Is it the Anunnaki or is it the Elohim? And what role did they play? I don't know how much of this we will be able to accurately piece together, or that I'll be able to accurately piece together from the research that I can do. I don't know. But, and there is also the possibility that no matter how thorough my research is, everything I have access to and everything all of you can verify is all written by people. So, since I can't have access to or communication with an Elohim, it is impossible for me to say definitively how much of the story that we have is accurate or not. For all any of us know, this shit could be entirely false. It could all be a matter of this is not accurately depicting, in a sense, even historical events. I don't know. I have no idea, and I honestly don't think there is any way that we can know exactly what was going on thousands of years ago, just because there's no way for us to verify any of it. But I wanted to point this out, that no matter what position you have on this, be it from the perspective I am of I'm an atheist, and I'm just looking at this as, okay, we're talking about different alien races. Or if you're looking at it from the aspect of one of these alien races, be it the Anunnaki, be it the Elohim, or if you're a Satanist, if you would be, and I don't know if I'll talk to my friend Tom Blackwood and find out if he would be aligning with the reptilians. I don't know. I know from what he has mentioned that his gods would be more of the Anunnaki, not the reptilians. I don't know. I would have to talk to him and find out where he is and what his position would be regarding basically which alien race he would be siding with. But that's what this comes down to. There's also, and I do want to point this out since I saw it, the aspect of Nephilim. There's only a little tiny scribble of the fallen angels of heaven. Perhaps some claim they are the hybrids of the Watchers that intermated with the women of earth during the time of Noah. They were the giants that were 7 to 10 feet tall. According to some research, the Anunnaki and Nephilim might be one and the same species. The idea of Nephilim and so forth, when I had talked to Mark Powers, that was just something he had looked at it in Hebrew, and he had said he didn't see it. So this idea of Nephilim is an entire invention of Christianity. It could be absolute fiction based on Christian bias in the story, because Mark Powers, who was a Jew, that meant nothing to him. Because, as I pointed out, the God of the Old Testament was not upset with the sons of God type of thing. He was pissed off at man. And I can even show in a future video that was not the Elohim. That would have been the Anunnaki. And dealing with the conflict between Enki and Enlil, that I'll go into in a future video. But there's a whole bunch of the races that I do want to cover. One video that will be a video in and of itself, and it'll be a rather long one, will be the one that I talk about the Greys, because there is considerable information regarding them that I think is interesting and a very fascinating dive in and of itself. But I just want everybody to bear in mind, even the aspect of hybrids and hybrid races, we are still talking biological life forms, biological entities. This does mention, I did see a reference to infernals in this somewhere, but I am currently doing a little bit of digging. I don't know if it was in this, that in the aspect of Luciferians, they've been described as the demonic manifestation of the alien races and have been depicted as looking like earthbound demons but have the ability to mask as humans. Others have stated that they're dominant species with intent on taking over the earth and enslaving humans, are supposedly connected to the Illuminati. Most likely they are reptilian in origin, as the description implies. I would say everything in this don't just buy into it because I can show you that it's here. No. This was, like all things related to religion and so forth, it's the ideas of people. So take it with a pinch of salt. And don't let this or anything be the be-all and end-all. That is why I am opposed to being dogmatic about anything. Be it a Bible, be it this, be it anything. It is all coming from a person. And people can be wrong. So even, like, I will never intentionally set out to be deceptive. But there are things in this that even I find really weird and exceptionally questionable. And it's not that. They actually had a picture of it, and it made me kind of chuckle. Because it's this idea of Borg. There was actually somewhere, it was a picture of what is the Star Trek Borg Queen. That is a fictional character created for the Star Trek Next Generation series. The idea that there could be cybernetic aliens and so forth that are part human, part machine, it is entirely possible. But the picture of the Borg Queen is entirely, yeah, there it is. That picture right there, I think, I forget the actress's name. If it was Alice Krug or whatnot, that is a fictional character created for the Star Trek TV series. This is why I say, and they have it under Draconoborgs, or Dracanoborgs. This is what I call bullshit on. I'm a fan of Star Trek. I know Star Trek. And I know this character. I've seen all of the movies with the Borg and so forth. And I think I've seen everything that is related to what would be the Borg Queen. But that is a Hollywood actress in makeup to look like that. This is what I have, and where I say don't take anything as gospel, because this right here, this is obvious bullshit, because that is a fictional character from a fictional TV series. That is what, and this is something that I feel when you're talking about something that you're wanting to say that this is real, and you include things that are obvious fiction, it really hurts the credibility of what you're trying to say when you combine potentially a real alien conversation or subject with obvious, blatant, fictional bullshit. But feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments section. Talk to you later, people.